So many people have told me that you love these role plays and that you want more role plays. And I am so excited today that I'm with my good friend and a very talented actor, Mary Beth Pape. And Mary Beth has been seen in so much theater, TV, films, and she is the very infamous and famous Mrs. Gary. So those of you who've seen me on TV in Santa Barbara, you've probably seen Mary Beth as Mrs. Gary in the Mrs. Gary Show. So welcome.
Hello, Susan. I am very happy to be here.
I'm thrilled, and we are going to play a lot of different role plays using the 6-part conversation, and I'll stop the action at different points to make it more clear what we're doing. Now, first I want you to assume that if I'm playing the role each time to calm her down, which I am, she's going to be the person who's complaining. She's going to be the person who's suffering. She's going to be the person who's frightened or angry or sad or all three. Because as you have heard me say, those are the 3 negative emotions that humans have. So Mary Beth is in each of these role plays going to be the person with the problem. And I, in each example, I'm going to be the person who's calm and calming her down and creating a solution. So if you remember, part 1 of the 6-part conversation is self-empathy, and it's silent. So I want you to assume that in each of these examples, I already know something, so I've calmed myself down before Mary Beth begins because I know there's a situation. Or perhaps I don't know the situation at all, and now she hits me from left field, and you've been in that situation, right? You're driving in a car, or somebody else is, and there's a guy T-boning, right? And you have to use your wits, keep your wits about you, and survive. So a lot of conversations are like that, aren't they? So in that case, I will silently stop and calm myself down. Just know I'll be doing self-empathy. Okay, so let's begin. So the first one, okay, I'm a very old mother. You're my daughter, and your husband, Lisa, you're already in mourning, right? Oh, and your husband has just died.
Mom, I didn't want to have a funeral. I just wanted him cremated. And now his family is coming in, and they say that they want to have a mass and everything. It's making me crazy.
So now I give her empathy. I can't obviously change what happened. Oh, honey, I know you just want to have some peace so you can mourn, and I know you just want to be left alone, and you just don't want to have to deal with the phone.
I know, and they're expecting me to make their travel arrangements. They're driving me crazy. I mean, my husband just died.
Yes, of course, and I can hear how desperate you feel to think that you're going to have all these family members, people you don't even know, who are going to expect you to take care of them. Is that right, honey? Is that what's going on?
That is exactly what's going on, Mom.
Okay, so now I've given her empathy. I've heard the situation. You can't solve it until you know what's really going on. You can't assume, you can't make up, you have to check. That's empathy. And so now I would begin and I would say, so let's see how I can help you. So there are a lot of things I could do, sweetie, to help you. What would that be?
Well, Mom, if you could answer the phone when they call so I don't even have to deal with it, and maybe you just answer the phone, that would be fabulous.
Absolutely. I will answer every single call, and I will also take care of whatever they're calling about. So I will point them in the right direction with airlines. I will point them to the right website so they can get their hotels, they can get their flights, they can get their rental cars. You just be in peace and deal with this terrible, terrible shock, and we'll get through this together.
Thank you, Mom.
Of course, honey, of course. And anything else you think of, please, you just let me know, whatever it is. If I can do it, I will do it. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. So, if we can not cry for another 10 minutes, but believe me, I came to this with Mary Beth with Kleenex, so I'm ready. She just has to reach over here, and there's Kleenex.
Thank you, Susan.
So what worked in that role play?
What worked for me was the fact that my mother, who could empathize with me because she has lost her husband, was right there for me emotionally, but she was also going to help me out doing chores that I didn't want to have to do. Totally calmed me down.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you. And again, every one of these 6 parts doesn't have to be used in every example. This is a mother and a daughter. So they know each other very well. They obviously love each other. If you're dealing with a stranger, if you're dealing with a complicated business arrangement, then you're going to have to use more of the 6 parts. But in another part of this training, I will have trained you on the 6 parts, and you'll know exactly what you're doing. Okay, so let's do the next one. So the setup for the next one is that Mary Beth is a caterer, and the caterer has a horrible problem with the guy who is supposed to be managing the event, what's called the house manager. So she's in the kitchen, she counts on the house manager to deal with everything outside the kitchen.
Hello? Hello? How many times have I told you that you have to hire people that are going to know what to do in the kitchen with the plates? Do you know that John came in the outdoor and bumped into Harry and dropped over, I can't even speak, dropped over a platter of all over the floor. I'm disgusted with you.
So you saw me flinch, right? Because I, of course, didn't know, how great Mary Beth was going to do this. So I didn't realize I was going to get swept right up into it, as you would. Silent self-empathy. So here's what I would do in that moment. And you have to master this. You have to practice this so you're ready when there is incoming, okay? So I felt scared because I had a need for safety. I felt shocked because I had a need for information. I felt worried because I have a need for my job. She's the caterer, I'm the house manager. She's responsible for my job. And ultimately, because I've been practicing the 6 part for years, I'm calm in just a few minutes. Now it's all about empathy for her. Mary Beth, I can understand why you're so furious. You need me to make sure the staff handles everything professionally and perfectly.
I can only bring a certain amount of product to the house or wherever it is that I'm working. This cuts into my expense. How am I supposed to replace a whole platter of finest smoked salmon?
Yes, I can really understand.
It's my profit.
That's right. And I can understand that this was my responsibility, and that the way the waiter handled it, that was my responsibility. That's on my watch. It's my job. So after the event's over, let's talk and we'll find out how much money you lost, and I will make it up for you because it was my fault. How's that? Is that okay?
That's marvelous. That is more fair than I thought you would be. This is fabulous. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so shall we talk about it in, let's say, 48 hours, when you've rested and I've rested from the event?
48 hours it is. Thank
Beautiful. Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was a beautiful party. Okay, now what worked?
Well, what worked for me was to have someone who obviously heard my situation, admitted that it was not my doing, which obviously I didn't want to take any kind of responsibility, and the fact that they said that they would help pay, well, that made me feel wonderful, and I probably would not even ask them for the money because I would feel so good that they offered.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what worked is, and it really does every time, I honestly have not twisted Mary Beth's arm to give me the answer I'm looking for. Because if it didn't work, then I would keep going. If she didn't calm down, I would keep giving empathy. That's the trick. There's no law that says you have to do self-empathy to calm yourself down for 5 seconds or 5 minutes. You do it until you're calm. Don't try the conversation until you're calm. Then, when you're giving her empathy, there's no law that tells you that someone's going to calm down in a limited amount of time, right? Though you wish they would. And as you get better and better with empathy, they will get calm quicker. Okay, the third one. Now, in the third one, Mary Beth and her neighbor have a problem. Mary Beth has been taking care of her neighbor's dog again and again and again and again. And the neighbor keeps saying that whenever Mary Beth needs a dog watcher, a dog sitter, a dog walker, that she'll do it, but the truth is, Mary Beth hardly ever asks, and the neighbor never has done it, not once.
I am getting so upset at you because what have I asked you maybe 4 times to help take Gabe out while I can't get home? And I've done it for your dog Pebbles maybe 100 times. And I'm just really upset. I feel like a sucker.
Oh, Mary Beth, I can understand it. Doesn't meet your need for fairness, and it doesn't meet your need for parity, that I would be the friend and you would be the friend, right?
Right. You heard what I said. It makes me feel like I'm a sucker. Are you my friend or what?
I so regret the confusion. And could I tell you what's been going on for me?
What's been going on with you?
And why this has happened? Could I just tell you that I need you to help me solve this problem so
sure.
that I can be the friend you need me to be?
Well, sure.
Okay, thank you so much. I have this little Maltese. And when you help me with my dog, you're helping me with this little tiny dog. And Gabe and your other dog are bigger dogs. And I've never taken care of a bigger dog. And I never realized that I was actually confused and afraid because I've never taken care of a bigger dog. So what I need you to do is I need you to teach me how to be like, take him on a leash and make sure he doesn't pull and all that stuff, because I just have never done it. So would you help me with that?
Of course I would. Of course I would.
Thank you. And then I promise that once you've trained me how to walk Gabe and your other dog, then of course I'll be able to do it because I won't be scared. I won't be confused. So when can we get together so that I can spend time with your dogs?
Well, how about tonight?
Beautiful. Okay.
That's great.
Fantastic. And thank you so much for hearing me. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So what worked?
What worked for me is that even in my state of anger, and I tell you how angry I am and that I feel like I'm a sucker, I now learn that you're not selfish at all. I can understand what your dilemma is, and I'm fine with it. So it makes me feel great that my friend is my friend, and we can keep on. Well, she'll be more of a friend now because she will be helping me with Gabe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, now this next one I think you will love. So in this next one, Mary Beth is an aging beauty queen, and I am the salesperson at, let's say, Neiman Marcus, right?
Absolutely.
And I am doing everything I can to sell her some cosmetics. So we're at the makeup counter.
Darling, I'm going to have to ask you to stop right now. And right now I am not at all sure I'm going to buy anything from you if you don't stop saying, a woman of your age, a woman of your age.
Oh, ma'am, I so regret. Of course, you're so beautiful, and we just have to find you the perfect lipstick so that you'll look your absolute best when you go to the party.
I'm not even listening to you. Because what did you say to me? You said, oh, ma'am. Oh, ma'am. I have to stop you again. Don't you dare call me ma'am.
I see. Okay. So you just want me to be more relaxed with you?
I want you to do your job. When I was your age, I didn't have a job. I was a beauty queen.
Okay, well then let's just find you the most beautiful lipstick that's going to enhance your beauty and make sure that when you go to this party tomorrow night, that everybody is looking at you and appreciating what you do to spark up the whole room. How does that sound?
That sounds beautiful because it is my gift, and I enjoy giving it to people.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
I get it. Thank you so much for explaining that.
Well, you're very welcome, darling.
Yes, wonderful. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, what worked in that scenario?
Well, now, what worked in that scenario? Is that there was someone who simply recognized that my beauty was important to me, and she let me have it.
Yes, and you can imagine there's no option for rolling eyes in any of these role plays. You will be, in situations, maybe not as funny as this, but you're going to be in situations where people are going to get triggered out of what seems to be the clear blue sky. You're going to have a moment or two in which to gather your thoughts, in which case I mean, what does that person feel? What does that person need? How can I empathize with her? How can I make it be about her? Okay? Or him. Or them. So you want to practice with every single person you meet as much as possible, calming down before communicating. That's the number one key here. Number two, when you communicate, it's all about her. Okay, so the next role play. We're going to do a role play in which Mary Beth is a teenager. She's got a learner's permit. She did something which is A, illegal. She drove the family car without an adult in it, and she has been grounded. Okay.
Mommy, I can't believe that you think that me taking the car to cheerleading was bad. What was I supposed to do? I mean, you weren't home, and Daddy wasn't home, and I had to get to cheerleading practice. I drove home, I drove to the school, I drove safe, and I hate you. You're the worst mother in the world.
I understand that this is so complicated. This is so confusing. And I love you for doing such a fantastic job of driving safe. Nothing is more important than you being safe, right? Yeah. And so you did a spectacular job of driving. And we have to separate that out because you did a fabulous thing. You drove. The problem, is the law. So the law says that when someone has a learner's permit, they can't just jump in a car. And that was a really unfortunate thing. And that was an error. You have to stay safe, not only with physical safety, which is important, but I want to be sure that you also, as angry as you feel, as frustrated as you feel, because you want me to appreciate that you stayed safe in the car.
Yes, I was very good.
Yeah, you were fabulous. You're a good driver. I want you to also understand that there's the legal safety part. Okay, honey?
So what's going to happen?
Well, I know that there's this problem you've got because I know what you're going to say in a minute, but I'll let you say it. But we just have to work these things out together, you and I. We just have to stay as calm as we can.
Okay, what does that mean?
Well, I know you've got this birthday party, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I have a birthday party this weekend, and I will die if I can't go to it. And you guys, your thing is you always ground me when I do something wrong. And I will absolutely die if I can't go to Celeste, my very, very best friend in the whole world's party. She's 17 only once, Mother.
So let's see how we can figure this out, honey, okay? So we know that there was a mistake in getting in the car with a learner's permit and driving alone. That was a mistake. And you know that in the future, even if mom or dad is a little bit late, unfortunately, you just have to wait, okay? So do you promise?
I promise that I will never do that again, no matter how good I drive.
Okay, until you get your regular license.
Until I get my regular license.
Which you're going to get soon.
Okay.
I mean, you're a good driver. We've got the road test scheduled. We've got everything ready. You'll drive. You'll have your own license soon.
Okay.
Okay. Now, how about if we postpone the grounding, you go to Celeste's party, and I'll drive you to and from, or Dad will drive you to and from, and you'll go to the party, but then the next day you'll be grounded for that extra, and we'll add that extra day. Is that something you could live with?
Oh, Mommy, you are the best mother in the whole world. That's perfect.
That works
Thank you.
then. Okay,
That
sweetie.
totally works.
So we just have to make sure the message is sent, the message is received, you can't break the law.
I will never do that again.
Beautiful.
And I just want to thank you.
Of course, of course. Okay, so what worked?
Well, what worked for me was that my mother, acknowledged that I was a good driver, and that she didn't. That I was a good driver, and that she didn't take away a very important thing to me. So I will probably learn to be more honest with my mother, because she's not unreasonable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the whole point of a solution, it's not a solution until it works for everyone involved. Now, I had a choice as a mother, and if you're a parent, you've gone through this, you've endured this 1,000 times. I've worked with a lot of parents. I've sometimes worked with the parents and the children, both together and separately. Sometimes I've just worked with the children to get the children to learn how to motivate and inspire mom. So we made this funny. Obviously, the way Mary Beth is doing all these role plays, you know, if you're a young person watching this, that's not what works. But we wanted to make it funny and entertaining for you. The key here is the solution worked for both of us. And that's what you always want to think about. Okay, the next one. So now we are both employees. We work in these tiny little cubicles, as so many people do these days. Our cubicles are right next to each other.
I have been working next to you in this cubicle for 6 months, and I have to tell you that the smell of your Italian sausage and peppers every day is making me sick and making me nauseous. I am a vegetarian.
So again, I give myself silent self-empathy before speaking, because being angry back at her isn't going to do it. Being defensive isn't going to do it. Giving her as much emotion as she gave me isn't going to do it. And trying to ignore it isn't going to do it. Those 4 options I just mentioned are part of whole brain thinking, and they're the 4 different selves, the 4 different personalities that we might have. But the ones I've described are the ones that don't work. What works is empathy. What works is the 6th part. Mary Beth, I had no idea. Thank you so much for letting me know that you're a vegetarian.
It's not only that, but you don't take the garbage away. It sits underneath your desk all day long.
That's true. That's really true. So let's see how we can solve this. So I can only imagine how my lunch is driving you crazy, because I used to be a smoker. And when I stopped smoking, it made me wild to have to be around people smoking cigarettes. So I totally get it. And it's true, when I'm finished eating, I don't even think about it, and I just stick it, I just close up the thing, I don't think about it. So let's see, what kind of a solution would really work here? Well, we have a lunchroom. So why don't I just take my lunch in the lunchroom? How's that?
That's fabulous. Thank you. I appreciate that very much.
You're so welcome. Yeah, my pleasure. So what worked?
What worked for me was that I was heard and the situation was solved. And I will tell her that she can bring peanut butter and jelly sandwiches anytime.
Wonderful. Now, it's the 6-part, and the 6th part is solution. You don't want to just listen to somebody on and on and on and on complaining. You don't want to, and it doesn't help. There is no benefit to allow someone to continue to complaining. And in fact, there are a lot of downsides to it, your health and the other person's health. Anyone who lives in a habituation of complaint is going to be having some negative impacts on their health. So just please know, Mary Beth doesn't really complain. She's a student of Heartspace. She doesn't complain in real life. She's forcing herself to do it for our role play show. Yeah. So in the next scenario, Mary Beth has just learned, and this is an imaginary role play, that her uncle has just been diagnosed with inoperable cancer.
Oh, man. I just found out that my Uncle Tommy has inoperable cancer, and he just lost his wife, my aunt, 2 years ago. It's just not fair.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sad to hear you say that. I know how much you loved him and how much both your aunt and your uncle meant to you. And actually, he means to you, because maybe there's a chance of even helping him so that somehow it's going to work out. Have they any positive news?
No, and I'm just thinking about my cousin Jane. I mean, it's just not fair to her. She just finished taking care of my aunt, and now she's going to deal with her dad. It's just really sad, and it makes me angry.
Yes, I'm sure. I know how confused you must feel. Why would Jane lose her mom and now be in danger of losing her dad? And I know how close you are to all of them, how much your family means to you.
Yes, very much. And he's my favorite uncle.
Yeah, so anything I can do to help, praying, anything, help you find experts, help you find surgeons, anything at all, just let me know.
Thank you. I will depend on you.
Beautiful. Good. Okay.
So
what worked?
So what worked for me was to have someone that I can speak to and tell them how I'm feeling and that I'm heard. And again, literally you're going to help me. You're going to do chores or do something to make it lighter for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That of course is the true meaning of friendship,
friendship
and support.
It makes you it makes you really cherish the people in your lives. Yeah.
And of course we always have to remember that when you get a solution, the onus is on you to have that person actually help. Because a lot of these solutions that we've imagined today require Mary Beth and me getting together at some time in the future to accomplish something. So she has to make sure that she remembers that I offered it, whatever it is, and now she has to make sure that when I say, hey, when would you like to get together and talk about the smoked salmon that was on the platter, she has to make sure she says, great, I think we said 48 hours. Because a lot of people want support and they get very angry if they don't have support, but then they don't do what they need to do to accept the support. So make sure you understand that's part of the solution. Okay, so the next role play. Mary Beth is a patron in a restaurant and she has been served a meal that is unacceptable.
Waiter.
Yes, yes.
I'm sending this plate back. The steak
I wanted really rare, it's medium. The mashed potatoes are warm, and the green beans are cold.
Madam, I am so sorry that the meal did not come out the way you ordered it. I know specifically that you wanted to have the steak black and blue, and you wanted, obviously, to have the vegetables the way they should be served to you. Let me take that away and let me replace it.
I waited for months, 2 months, for this reservation. And the only thing I wanted not cooked was the steak.
Well, let's see how I can fix this. I will, of course, immediately bring you a new meal. And what would you like to drink on the house? What would you like for dessert? Later on, I'll bring you the dessert menu. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely, because we want you to be a favorite patron here. We want you to have a fantastic time when you're here.
I want that too.
Beautiful. So what worked in that scenario?
What worked in that scenario is, once again, I continually find that when you're not feeling, when you're angry or not feeling positive, that you're being heard, and that a solution is found to be equitable, and that
Exactly.
was fine, because I want the restaurant to work.
Wonderful. Now, the thing that you want to think about, a lot of these examples are scenarios where I want her to hire me as the house manager again. I want her to come back to the restaurant again. I want her to take care of my dog in the future. I want her to be a decent cubicle neighbor at the office, right? So I'm not doing this. I mean, a lot of people will see this and they'll say, Susan caved. No, I thought about it long and hard, how to do it. Now, we didn't bother to create a role play where somebody complains to me and I just let her keep complaining and I let her keep being angry and I say to her, well, it's been nice and goodbye, because you don't need me to teach you that. We know how to do that all day long, right? And you don't need me to teach you how to pick a fight with somebody. They could be perfectly happy with you, but you don't like them, and you jump down their throats. Why? Because we know how to do that all by ourselves. And you don't need me to show you how to try to push somebody and push somebody and push somebody and give them a hard time, because, listen, if that worked, we'd be doing that all day long. We wouldn't learn any other skills, because it's fun to push people around. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so the next one is Mary Beth is devastated because she's married to a guy and she just learned that he gambled the mortgage money.
I can't believe that Harry has gambled away on mortgage. What are we going to do? Are we going to lose the house? And worst of all, I feel so stupid that I stayed with him. He promised me he would never do it again, and I believed him. I feel like a fool.
You just must be so scared because you obviously need to pay the mortgage. And you must be just devastated because you need to stay in a marriage with a guy you love, who really loves you. And I can guess that you're just feeling completely overwhelmed right now.
I don't know what to do. I don't make enough money to support us. I don't do it. I mean, I don't want to lose the house. Where am I going to get the money?
I really hear how not only shocked you are, because I think he did this once before.
5 years ago, you know that.
Yeah. And so you're devastated on that one area that
It's two things.
Yes.
My marriage and literally the roof over our heads.
Yes, exactly. And I'm so excited that you see that it's two separate things and that you understand you've got to find
I have two
solutions.
problems.
Yes. And we're going to find something. We're going to figure something out, of course. So the money from the mortgage, but he's still working and you're still working, and so it's just a shortfall, and you have a lot of options about that. And do you have some thoughts about where this extra money might come from this month?
Okay. We have some really beautiful furniture in a storage unit, and we can sell that.
Okay, so that's one option. Okay, and I know an antique dealer, so I know a great antique dealer.
Okay.
That might solve it.
I would like to say I could go to my family, but they were the ones who rescued us 5 years ago, and I don't even want to tell them.
Right. Sure, yeah.
But the furniture should take care of a month or two, so
Wonderful.
that makes me feel better. And in the meantime,
Wonderful.
Harry can, well, we can start to work on Harry again.
Well, let's talk about that for a moment. Now, is it possible for either of you to work any extra hours to earn any extra money this month, next month? Because that would meet your needs for more financial security, because there'd be more income for you guys.
I know I can pick up some hours. I think I'll have to ask Harry. He'll be willing.
Okay, great.
He feels bad.
Okay, great. So I'm really so excited that you've got some options to come up with the money, so you don't have to be panicky about that. You have the potential for the financial stability that has been so devastating. And then I'm so relieved, because of course you and I have been close friends for all these years. I know what you went through 5 years ago, and look how you're handling it this time. You're really grounded, and so I know that you'll find a solution. You just have to promise me that you keep your cool with Harry, because that's the way you're going to motivate him, right?
Yes.
And then we can talk about what you're going to do about this problem later. You got to find a way to make it impossible for him to do it again. But we don't have to talk about that today.
All right.
Now we got you calmed down. That's the
I'm
key.
calmed down because I know where I'm going to have the next 2 months' rent.
Great. Now, can we make a plan to talk in a couple of days about how to put some brakes on Harry? Because I have somebody...
If you're willing, I would love to speak with you.
Sure, because there's this woman, Susan Allan, who I think you probably want to speak to about this.
Oh, she's that life coach. Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard fabulous things about her. Yes. I will call Susan Allan. I'll call Susan Allan. Sorry.
Yes, and what worked in this scenario?
What worked for me was to call Susan Allan. What worked for me was to have someone listening and reminded me that I didn't have to go into a panic, and that it was a two-part solution, but at least one part of the situation was being tended to. So it really relaxes you.
Beautiful. The key to most solutions, and if you have one that's an exception, please email me or call me, because I really want to know. But the key to most solutions is always that if you have the tool of self-empathy to calm yourself down before action, before communication, or if you, like we do in these role plays, have someone who's able to give you empathy, which is what I'm demonstrating, someone who's able to help you calm down, help you stay grounded. If you have either or both of those in your life, then you're going to make much better decisions. You're going to have much more choices. You'd be amazed what you can come up with as an option if you're able to be really calm, because there are other tools that I teach about outside-the-box solutions and going to sleep and telling your brain something and waking up with a solution in the morning. So I have lots of tools around this. This is, of course, just a role play, and what we're doing here is the 6-part conversation. And here we've seen again and again, I think this is about the 9th role play that you and I have done together, every single one, get yourself calm, and everything flows from that. Okay, the next one. In the next role play, Mary Beth has a plumbing emergency.
Hello? Hello? I called your emergency service. I had an appointment set up He was supposed to be to my house where I have no toilets or no water, and I have a washing machine that's standing with water in it 2 hours ago, and he hasn't even showed up, and I've had no phone call.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Mary Beth, let me see what's happening. Hold on, because I knew that Bob was supposed to come to your house, what, about 45 minutes ago, right?
He's 2 hours late, whatever it is. You do
2
the
hours
math.
late. Okay, fine. So let me see exactly what's happening with him, because this is, of course, not the way we've ever taken care of you. in the
No,
past.
because you know I am a preferred customer.
Yeah,
This
of
is
course.
unacceptable. It's false advertising.
Of course you are. Oh, there's another call coming in from Bob right now. Hold on just a second. And in this case, I mean there really is a call from Bob. I'm not just pretending. But, you know, you obviously can't have someone
You're
who
making me
doesn't
break-
have any plumbing, and you
You're
can't.
making me break character.
Okay, so I come back on the phone. Mary Beth, I just heard that Bob's had a problem with the truck. He's fixed it. His phone ran out of juice, and because the truck had a problem, he couldn't call you or me. I so regret this unexpected delay. He is 10 minutes from your house. He will be there in 10 minutes.
You promise?
Oh, absolutely.
Well then, okay. 10 minutes is a good thing. Thank you.
Beautiful. Now, while I have you on the phone, because Bob probably won't bother to teach you this, there is a solution to the toilet if you don't know it.
Well, that would be fabulous if you could tell me.
Fantastic. And then she goes
Thank
into
you.
and then she goes into that, right?
Fabulous.
So this is an example of advanced customer service. You know, let's say this is an older woman and she doesn't know that if the chain's disconnected, or she doesn't know if the things, the little ball and whatever, or she ran if there wasn't any water, or if there wasn't electricity and she lives in an apartment building. I mean, there are so many solutions to so many things. And if you own a company, or if you're in sales at a company, or if you do customer service at a company, please remember it's about calming the person down, finding out what their needs are. In this case, it's a very practical need. She needs to have plumbing, right?
Yeah.
And so you can make sure the plumber's on the way. You can calm her down because she's angry and upset. She needs to be heard, but she needs service.
And
Okay, beautiful.
what worked for me is that not only was I told that my problem, the plumber not coming, was met. He was coming 10 minutes away. But as you mentioned, the extra knowledge of knowing how to fix the toilet, that's fabulous. It's always good to be able to learn something.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the next one is Mary Beth is nagging. She's a nagging wife. Not that she is in reality ever, not even once, nor have any of us ever nagged a guy or partner in our lives.
Not Susan Allen.
And the reason we don't nag, by the way, is simply because it doesn't work. Not because it's wrong, not because it's bad, none of that stuff. It doesn't work, so we don't do it. But here's what to do if you've got someone in your life who nags you. You're going to watch me turn this around, I hope. Okay.
I have been watching you eat more and more and exercising less and less, and it's driving me crazy because there has to be something wrong with you, and how come you're not talking to me?
So it sounds as if you're really concerned that the level of connection that we normally have just hasn't been happening lately. Is that it?
That's exactly right, because you know I love you. And the fact that you're not talking to me about something that is obviously wrong is hurting my feelings. I love you.
And I would imagine you're also feeling scared because you want to be sure that I don't have any secrets. You want to make sure I'm keeping you in the loop with everything, right?
Well, yes, of course.
Sure, sure. Okay. So, I'm just lazy these days. I just have my mind on other things, and I'm just really busy with this new business, and I wasn't thinking about it. So
But
you could
I'm-
help me with
I'm
this.
I'm bringing it to your attention,
Yes.
and it's the holidays coming up. I don't want people to be thinking that you look bad.
Okay, so what could you do to help?
You'll listen to me?
Well, let's hear it.
I think
One
we
thing.
should start walking. I think we should start walking after dinner every night. And instead of taking the 2 blocks, I think we should increase it to 10.
Okay, so we'll take the dogs for a walk. They'll get something out of it.
Very much.
We'll be together so it won't be boring.
Exactly. We can talk about our day.
Okay, and you'll love it because I know how much you love
I
to
love
be with
to,
me when we
it's-
talk and all that.
There it is. It's just perfect. And I'm saying 10
Mm-hmm.
because it really has to be something strong.
Okay, well, how about if I would agree to do that 4 days a week? And then maybe I might be able to do it more because I have this new company I'm starting and I've got a
Honey,
lot
you
of
can
time.
do it 3 days a week. We can do it
Oh.
Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
then we can take Sunday off,
Okay.
then we'll do it Monday and Wednesday.
Fantastic. Okay, so does that work for you?
That works for me, honey. Thank
Okay,
you.
Sweetie, that works for me now, but you've got to say, okay, sweetheart, we're taking our walk now.
All right, all right.
You have to start it.
All right, okay. That's good. And no more desserts.
Well, let's talk about that another day. Let's do one thing at a time, all right? Because I'm
Okay, I
perfectly
am
happy to do the walks today, but now I feel a little shocked when you want to add something in there at the last minute under the wire.
All right, okay. The walking now will be great.
Okay, so we're going to do 3 nights a week. Each week, we're going to walk, and we're going to walk 10 blocks.
10 blocks.
What do we do when it rains?
We get an umbrella.
Or we could postpone it to the next night because it doesn't rain much in LA, right?
Okay.
Because walking in the rain, that's
I
not
want
ready.
to walk in the rain.
You do?
Yes, I love, especially since we're not getting so much rain. I love the rain.
Okay, can I have a veto power on the rain?
You can have veto power on the
Okay.
rain.
As long as 3 nights a week, we're taking a walk.
There it is.
It's 10 blocks.
There it is. As long as it's 3 blocks. And if El Nino comes and it's going to be raining, we still have to do it. I love you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, well, we don't want to end up like those old people walking around the mall, do we?
No, we
Okay,
don't.
okay, good.
All right.
So what worked
Well,
there?
what worked for me is, again, the negotiating. Is that I'm being heard. I'm acknowledging that he has some rights in this. He had no secrets. And we found a solution because he was so wonderful.
Fantastic. And you saw that it was very organic. You know, if you're looking for when I shifted from empathy to self-expression, to reflection, to clarification, to solution, you're going to want to ask me more specifically, or you're going to want to learn this. Because that was a pretty advanced one where I just shifted. If I did it in a more by the book way, it doesn't sound as normal, it doesn't sound as natural, and is not as effective. So you want to get to the point where you can master self-empathy, and then you're calm whatever you say. Then you master empathy for the other person, and you really hear that other person's feelings. And you master self-expression, and then every word that comes out of your mouth is like a pearl. It's calm, it's motivating. Then you master reflection, clarification, solution. So this is like anything else. You know, you're going to crawl before you walk, and you're going to walk before you run, right? Okay, the next one. So Mary Beth is a college professor, and I am her student.
Dolores, it has come to my attention that you are consistently late in turning your papers in, and I do not give anyone an A in my class who turn their papers in late. Do you really want to ruin your GPA just because you can't be bothered to meet the deadline?
So I am calming myself down. I'm saying I feel angry that my need for understanding isn't met. I'm feeling worried because I have a need for my GPA to be good. I'm feeling very concerned because I have a need to be on the dean's list. I'm disgusted because this woman's a teacher and she's a professor. She's not communicating with any kind of empathy for me. I need empathy, consideration. And ultimately, I know I've got to turn this around. Mrs. Smith, I understand that I have to be more efficient with my timing on these assignments. I know there's a deadline, and from now on, I have to be absolutely 1,000% on time. Is that right?
That's right. I want action. I don't want just words. You were my best student, and now you will have to earn my respect to get the A.
And I understand that you feel really disappointed because you expected something different from me. You expected me to do what I needed to do on time and do the best quality work, right?
Yes.
I got it. So that
Well, I
is-
look forward to
yes.
seeing your papers turned in on time. And you will thank me for this one day, Dolores. You will thank me. Good day.
I lived through that in my high school years. It's really hard when something is so resonating with what you've endured in your life. So, yeah, I mean, you don't have a choice here. There's no wiggle room. I mean, there's no wiggle room in that woman's life, right? So it's certainly sometimes her way or the highway, right, in life. And this is a case. So what worked there?
What worked for me, because she is that kind of woman, is that she got what she wanted. That young woman will bring her papers in on time. And am I allowed to say that I just
Sure.
love how you don't break, Susan? You're very good at this. No, you really are, because you stay right in it.
I'm really grateful because, you know, I've had 3 clients over 15 years who were able and also willing to do role plays on camera. And today is the 3rd. And of course, Mary Beth is a very, very, very gifted actor. And her very good friend and my very good friend, Lisa Cirincione, is also a very, very talented actor. And so I'm not an actor. What's interesting is you don't have to be an actor. If you are, that helps. But what you have to really do is you have to care enough about this other person to be able to stay connected to that person. And you may have to do this because of a dangerous situation one day. These skills, self-empathy, empathy, self-expression, reflection, clarification, solution, these skills have the power to save your life. I hope you never need them. I hope that's never going to be the focus. But these skills have that power. And when I work with people who have been a victim of domestic abuse, and I am a survivor of domestic violence, when you work with someone who has that understanding, let me tell you that they begin to understand what they can do differently. Does that mean that the other person, their partner, was right? Of course not. But if you're thinking of your partner as being wrong, you're unlikely to learn these skills. And I'm also a divorce mediator. I can tell you when I work with clients who are getting a divorce, whether I'm the divorce coach or the divorce mediator, I can tell you it is huge when a client is willing to learn these skills. Their divorce costs a lot less. They get a lot more of what they want. If there are children or pets, the children and the pets come out much better in the end because there's not World War III going on. So please understand that even though this is fun and we're amusing, and we hope we're amusing you, that this can save your life. Okay, the next one is a friend who's complaining about the weather.
Oh, I am so sick of this hot weather. When is it going to be November? I have to get up at 6 a.m. to walk the dogs. Usually at this time of year, I can do it any time of the day.
And I know how much you love taking your dogs on hikes, and I know it's really fun if you're not sweltering, so you want it to be fresh, that crisp fall weather that you probably remember like me from the East Coast where we grew up.
Yes, exactly. And to have to get up at 6 a.m., it just starts my day off in a rush.
So you really want to be able to sleep in and relax and have it be like 70 degrees, let's say, 75 even, and go to Runyon Canyon or wherever you like to walk the dogs and really just relax and have fun in the afternoon.
Yes.
Okay, I understand.
Well, it is November. Did you see what the weather is in New York? Mm-hmm. It's frigid. Mm-hmm. So you're making me realize that 70 degrees, well, it's okay. I prefer to be warm than cold.
Wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. What worked?
Well, what worked is, again and again, it's being listened to. It's being heard.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. I'm going to just take a few moments here to explain, because we have a little time, that it's about letting the other person come up with the solution, because now, unless you're their life coach, and I happen to be Mary Beth's life coach, but this is not about that. This is about empathy for someone who's upset, empathy for someone who's scared or angry or sad. That's what this demonstration is about. How do you motivate and inspire anyone about anything so that you have more peace, they have more peace, and there's more success? And the way that you do it is with this simple 6-part conversation. And before we do the last one today, I just want you to have real understanding that I didn't come up with a solution for her in this one because it's not an emergency. It's not a crisis. The world's not coming to an end because she has to get up a little early, or because she's, sweating a little bit, or the, dogs have to have a little bit of water on the walk. It's not a life-threatening problem. So you need to have more of these skills if the problem is bigger or the complaint is bigger. That makes sense, right? Okay, so the final one is Mary Beth is traveling and she almost missed her plane.
Hello, I'm back, and I'm in a bad mood because I'm just thinking about what a time I had getting to the trip. The cab was over 15 minutes late. I barely made it to the plane on time. It gets me in a bad mood just thinking about it. I can't even tell you about the trip yet.
Oh, honey, I had no idea. I mean, I remember when you left here, you must have been so furious because you were ready to go the night before.
I was ready to go the night before, and then not only was the cab late, but when I got in, the seatbelts didn't work, and I couldn't put the windows up and down.
Oh, my goodness.
What a way to start a trip.
Wow, and what a disappointment, because you've used that driver, you like that driver. So he wasn't able to meet your needs for being on time, and he wasn't able to provide you with a really safe
With
ride.
no explanation.
Oh, you must be so disappointed. So you just managed to get on the plane.
I just managed to get on the plane. But I had a wonderful vacation.
Did you?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Well, I can't wait to hear about it later when we have dinner together. That's
Well-
wonderful.
That sounds like a great idea.
Okay. And what worked in that scenario?
What worked in that scenario, again, I'm repeating myself, but it's to be heard. It's to be heard and validated that your feelings are legitimate. And I just think that that is so important. Feelings validated.
Thank you. Beautiful. Now, when you combine this with whole brain thinking, you'll be able to make more senior, more advanced decisions about how to give somebody empathy. A big part of giving someone empathy is being able to assess in a very short period of time the way they think, therefore you understand what their needs are. And so as you continue to watch this training, you'll get more information because you'll be able to understand whole brain thinking. And as you watch these role plays again and again and again, and I hope you do, you begin to see what maybe you couldn't see the first time, which is how I was calming myself down, how I was reconnecting with Mary Beth, how I was trying to guess what her feelings and needs were. I would try something, maybe that wasn't it. I'd try something a little bit different, maybe that wasn't so much it. Ultimately get to it. And you just wait for that person to relax. You're going to see that shift in her. Like Mary Beth said, the rest of her trip was great. So I could have gone on and on about the driving and the driving, company, car service, but why bother? Because again, it's not a crisis, it's in the past, and she's over it. That's what you really care about.